What's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Loki Kia in Clearwater, Florida, and look what we were able to track down. This is the all-new 2022 Kia Carnival. This particular one is a top-level trim. This is an XX trim. But before we get into this Carnival, let's talk about what's going on here. Kia is really reimagining itself and coming to the forefront of the auto industry. Now, this vehicle was designed in the same studios over in California that gave us the Telluride, giving us that style from the Seltos and then bringing it over to the Carnival. Now, it's interesting because in 2018, when Kia came out with the Stinger GT, people started to notice and pay attention to what this brand was doing, because they've come a long way since the early 1990s when they first started selling cars here in the United States. Now, the Carnival is not something totally new per se. That name has been used in other parts of the world. Here, it's replacing the nameplate Sedona. And what's really exciting is that technically, this is the first Kia product to be sold in the United States that has the all-new rebranding badging around the whole vehicle. Sitting on a new chassis, a little bit longer, a little bit wider, is going to give us tons of room. But what I want to find out is, has Kia changed the game when it comes to that terrible word, minivan, with this Carnival? Because technically they're calling it an MPV, a multi-purpose vehicle. So let's go ahead, let's find out what is new for 2022, and should you be buying one of these Carnivals and having a party of your own, or going to one of the other brands like Honda or Toyota. Let's go ahead and find out. Right off the bat, very unique styling, and I like to point out that it's really blending some of that Seltos, some of that Sorento, and definitely some of the Telluride. When you start at the front of the business, you're gonna get standard across all trims. And remember, we brought you the LX trim, which is that entry-level trim. Kind of nice now to almost be knocking on the top trim. The top trim is SX Prestige. This particular one is at SX, so you're gonna get your standard LED headlights. I love the way they did the styling of the housings. Very, very small, kind of brings a nice futuristic look. You're gonna see that great job that they do with their LED daytime running lamps. Really, really nice extra touch there. And then as you work your way down, look at how they cut out these corners to give you a functional side air curtain that's gonna help channel the air. You got functional fog lamps down below, and I'm really digging that nice brushed aluminum look. A little bit of flat black, and if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's this white here? This is part of that film that they take off during the PDI process. I just wanted to show you that because when this thing rolls off the truck, it has so much protective film, more than almost any other vehicle brand that I've ever seen, and they do that on purpose so that when you get your product, it's free of scratches and marks and all that kind of stuff. But brushed aluminum, both down here, across the bottom middle section, and then look how it kind of drapes into that tiger nose grille. Such a unique styling standpoint that really is a brand identifier. It has a little bit of a concave flow to it, but it's that tiger nose grille. Each of these touches are black chrome finish on the SX trim. You can see more of that LED lighting in there, and of course the updated, upgraded Kia badge. I'm digging it. Definitely looks fresh, and I could see that as we move towards electrification, that really kind of has that electrification feel to it. Now, as you kind of drop down, that brushed aluminum, flat black, and I really like what they did with this lower lip area. It gives it more of an SUV look. And overall, this vehicle really does, from a distance, look more like an SUV than a minivan. But we're not going to use that word. When we get up onto the hood, I love the way it kind of drops down in the center to meet that grille. And look at the beautiful body lines on both sides. It's not a bulge, but it does give it a nice muscular look. And that's what they wanted. They wanted this vehicle to not look like anything that the competition is bringing to the table, whether it's the Odyssey or the Sienna. They wanted it to be a standout, or the Pacifica, which the Pacifica, out of all of them, seems to have the most rounded shape to it. This is getting more bold and rugged. Now, when we come around the bend, look what we have. We're not dealing with those small 17-inch wheels like we had on the LX. The SX trim gets these gorgeous gloss black 19-inch wheels, a little bit more of that PDI film. I'm gonna peel that off so you can see the Kia badge, looking clean, looking sharp. If you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this wheel? 235 on the width of the tire, 55 series sidewall, and like I said, 19 inches in diameter. And I think the white with the black just sets it off, really kind of makes the whole car come alive. There's some other colors. One of my favorite is this color called Astra Blue. I was gonna be able to review one of those, but guess what? It's sold. These are selling almost as fast as Telluride. So it's one of those things that I'm trying to do this review before this one gets sold so we could be watching it right now at your house. But I love the way they do the nice bold body lines, just like the front, into that fender. Super clean, and then we're gonna move down the side of the vehicle. Now, this one, I love the way they went gloss black on the A-pillar. This is your A-pillar, A, B, C, D, so on and so forth. Gives it a nice clean look. Gloss black on your mirror caps with some of that beautiful white. We're gonna have 360-degree cameras, and you're gonna have those nice slim and trim LED turn signals in the mirror caps. Coming down the side, I think one of the best parts is a nice flat roof. You're gonna get these raised roof rails with some nice bright metallic silver. It's like a flat silver, and you can see how far raised they are off the roof. And then you're gonna get brushed aluminum, like on the grille, like on the front fascia, brought to the tops of the door handles. And you have a little bit of brushed aluminum along the bottom there to break up the sea of regular flat black plastic. Of course, when it comes to the doors, you have those nice electric sliding doors on both sides. There's a little peek of the interior. That's all you're gonna get. You're not seeing anymore until later. As we keep working our way back, look how nice that kind of drops in. You see some of that great style from the folks that work in the design studio in California for Kia. One of my favorite touches, which I want you to put in the comment section what you think about this, because I'm curious. I actually like this. It kind of breaks up the sea of just bland. It's a nice textured design, brushed aluminum in its style, and this design is also found on the interior, so it does have that connection outside being brought into the inside. Some of you in the first Carnival video that we did on Rady's Rides said you didn't like this. I want to know a little bit more. Do you zonk this or you don't? I'm not zonking it. I think it's sharp. Now, one thing that's a little hard to get around is that major gap right here, and obviously this is the track for the door to slide in. I wish there was a way to kind of tidy this up, but on the white it kind of blends in a little bit more compared to the silver or some of the other colors. But look at how it's super flared out here, and then it gets really skinny all the way around the base. You got a little bit of gloss black on the rear pillar. I love the way, just like on the Seltos, they shape those roof rails. That allows you to get straps and bungee cords a little bit more effectively around the end of the roof rail there. LED taillights, love the design once again. What they're doing at the front, they bring to the back, and look at how it goes all the way across. Nicely illuminated. There's your new Kia badge. And if you notice, they listen to Rady's Rides. No exposed wiper. The wiper's nicely tucked under this roof spoiler that extends off. I love the way it's got a little bit of style. Instead of just making it like a table, like you're gonna have Thanksgiving off of it, they give it a little bit of style, and that's what Kia does. They really have been paying attention to all the small details. We drop down, one of the zonks I have to give it are the turn signals. I don't like it when the turn signals are mounted super low in that rear bumper area. They're hard to see when you're behind the vehicle, and I don't know, I think with the technology, everything should just be blended nicely, and you could kind of clean up that whole lower area. But to wrap it off, you do have brushed aluminum. I actually think it's cool that they went with a nice cursive script on the Carnival badge. It actually gives you a little bit more panache feel to it. And then of course you're gonna have your release right here in the center. You can tow with this Carnival, but we're gonna find out what's powering it and give you those numbers underneath the hood. Let's go check it out. All right guys, we do have the hood popped open, and you do have a prop rod. I'm gonna zonk that on the SX trim. I can understand maybe on the LX, but this is near the top. The good news is I do like the way they move it all the way over. And like I was telling you, look at all the film that they put everywhere. This all gets taken off before you drive it home, but that's how much Kia cares. They literally protect almost every percentage of the body, under the hood and outside. Speaking of underneath the hood, I do like the engine cover. Quite a surprise on a, I'm gonna say it quietly, minivan, or like he is calling it, an MPV. And yes, Mazda did have officially a vehicle called an MPV, no longer in existence, but they did do it first. But I do like that engine cover. You're looking underneath that tasteful engine cover, a 3.5 liter V6, naturally aspirated horsepower. It's 290 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, no CVTs, 0 to 60 in about 7 seconds flat. Can tow up to 3,500 pounds, so 3,500 pounds, MPGs, 19 in the city, 26 on the highway. And one thing I forgot to point out when we were talking about wheels is you get a multitude of different choices from 19-inch up to those very, very pretty, from 17-inch all the way up to those pretty 19-inch wheels on this particular setup. But you know what? Having naturally aspirated horsepower, a very, very good thing. But why don't we get to the interior and see what big things are in store, because guess what? This is on an all-new chassis. Let's go ahead and check it out. All right, guys, we're inside this 2022 Kia Carnival SX. We started with the LX, now we're near the top, and boy, oh boy, there are some major changes inside this Carnival compared to the Sedona. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I need an MPV. I'm gonna be just like Kia and not call it a minivan, Joe. It's an MPV. My family is growing. I'm having kids left and right. I'm finding kids in bushes outside my house that I need to drive around. How much is this MPV? Because I know SUVs just can't do it for me. The way that this one is spec'd out, SX trim, you're looking at MSRP right around $43,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. I love the style going on. You're gonna get nice soft touch material. You'll notice that the door handle is a Kia belt buckle. Very, very nice touch. And then there is a bit of gloss black. That's gonna be the zonk, is a lot of gloss black. Not so much bother me on the back portion of the door panel, but if you notice, as you look at that beautiful two-tone tan interior to break up the sea of dark material, there is a large amount of gloss black where the switchgear is for your door locks and your door window. That's gonna lead to a lot of fingerprints. But hey, teach your kids to clean up after themselves. It's a very, very good life lesson. Now, as you work your way down, the door pocket is long in length, but it's not very wide. So maybe just some tacos from Taco Bell, maybe about 4 or 5, or you could get those super long churros from Costco and a bottle of water to wash it all down. We go from the door panel to the dash. I love what's going on here. You got the stitch work, soft material, nice two-step area. That wood finish is looking very, very classy. I wish they would have used a little bit of this on the door panel, but look at how they integrated the AC vents, super clean with that nice silver all the way going to the infotainment. Now this is all new for 2022. On the LX, we had an 8-inch. Well, guess what? When 8 inches doesn't do it for you, you could go over 12 inches, 12.3-inch infotainment system screen, navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Is it a touchscreen? Of course. You have that passenger talk system where you don't have to yell at the kids in the back. It gives you that nice stadium speaker MC sound to tell them to stop, picking their nose back there or pulling on their sister's hair. You have quiet mode when the baby's asleep and you want everything to be nice and low. And then my favorite thing is right here, you go passenger talk. Now let's say you're bold enough to allow your 13-year-old son or daughter to go out on a date and you have to drive them to the movie theater. This is worth every penny. You could watch and make sure that no hanky-panky is going on in the back of your MPV, especially with your son or daughter. So that gives it nice, and you can see just how clear that camera footage is. And then you just go right back to home. You want to see a map? Bam, there's your map. Nice wide, fills up a large portion. And let's see what the backup camera looks like. So you got a nice large view, fairly clear. It could be just a tad more clear, but you are getting the 360 trajectory all the way around. And you have all those touch options to where you could look down the side of the vehicle, which is great. So super clean, put it right back in the park. There's more of that wood. You could rub your wood after a hard day driving home. Silver looks good on the start stop button. A little bit more gloss black. Work your way down. You're gonna have your dual climate controls, some switches, some actual touch points, but very, very cleanly integrated in this center area. Work your way down. We have USBs, 3 of them, and you have a wireless charging area and a place for some atomic fireballs. I do like what they did with the silver. Gloss black, like I said, if you teach your kids to clean up after themselves, they could wipe this down after every single ride. That's what I would do. And then you have a banana holder on the side here. If you're trying to maybe eat a little bit healthier, have a banana, couple bananas on each side. There's your key fob with the new Kia badge, looking good. You could open up the doors, you could do remote start. Very, very tasteful, very clean. 2 cup holders, I'm gonna slide that right there. This is gonna control that 8-speed automatic. You got your different drive modes, which is great. Love the way they did the silver. And what I super duper love are the heated seats and ventilated seats. All one toggle switch, nice clean view. You got a Snickers bar holder here, and then semi-soft on the tan, but it looks great. Open this up, look what do we got? Now, it is big enough for a box of Twinkies, but you have to put it diagonally. And this box of Twinkies, they were left here by our Ladies Rise Patreon members, Diego and Jeff. Thank you guys for allowing us to showcase that you can fit a box of Twinkies in there, you just have to go diagonal. Sometimes you gotta try out a different angle to make it all just slide right in. Seats, love the material, love all the perforated, the stitching. That's the classy. This is really where, when you look at the competition, they really raised the bar compared to Honda, compared to Toyota, compared even to the Chrysler Pacifica, to be honest with you. Full electric assist, passenger and driver. The only bummer is in the SX trim, no sunroof, no panoramic sunroof, no regular sunroof, not even like a hole in the ceiling with a piece of glass over it so you could kind of just see what the clouds look like. That's it. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of the Kia Carnival. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel, where you're going to be driving your large pack of family members as you're going from location to location. We do have 2 memory seat settings, which are great. I got plenty of headroom in here. I'm 6 feet tall. Seats feel good. We have the electric assist down here with that wonderful lumbar, which is going to be great, especially on the longer drives. And then check out the new steering wheel. Nice leather, love the thickness, the stitch work is classy. There's your updated, upgraded Kia badge. We have some gloss black, nothing too heavy. There's no paddles behind the wheel, so if you're gonna do any shifting through the 8-speed manually, you're gonna have to use the shifter itself. Dash is a bit of a bummer, and I am gonna have to zonk it. If you want full 12.3-inch digital display, you gotta go SX Prestige. So you gotta go one step higher. On this vehicle, you do have your analog gauges, tach, speedometer, fuel, and coolant, and there is a small digital display. I feel like they should have at least made that digital display in the center a little bit larger, make it like a 7-inch to where you could actually see it a little bit better and have some colors. We do have different drive modes. Eco, when you want to save the planet. Sport, when you're racing other minivans like the Odyssey, the Pacifica, and the Sienna. Smart, when you're taking your kids to school and you want to help them out in every way that you can, get a higher IQ. And then normal, but who really wants to be normal? We're going to do it in sport. See that 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. The steering wheel is tilting and telescoping, and you have all the switch gear to open all the doors basically right from this command center. But why don't we go ahead, let's open the doors and check out the mid-row and see how your passengers are going to love this new Carnival. Guys, come on in to class leading, like I said, passenger volume on this new platform. It's wider, it's a little bit taller, gives you more room in here. 6 feet tall still, and I'm feeling great sitting in the back. Speaking of the backs of the seats, your passengers are going to have nice large screens for those movies on the long trips. They could do the sounds of nature. You got your Netflix and everything else. Of course, it's a touchscreen, and you could do the whole kids theme setup. Speaking of kids, backs of the seats are plastic. So the good news is that they're not going to rip up the nice leather, the faux leather style material, and it's easy to clean all their boogers and fingerprints from their chocolate cake and cupcakes and whatever else you're letting them eat back here when you're paying attention to the road. You do have a dual hybrid setup for pockets. We have the cargo net, which is not my favorite, but the good news is I don't have to zonk because we have our standard cargo. It's a little on the tight side, so maybe one piece of paper. You could probably fit one piece of paper in there, and that's about it. We have a little bit of a command center, 2 cup holders. There is some gloss black that the kids are gonna have to wipe down after they're done using. You do have a home power source. You also have a 12 volt, which is great. And then you have a nice spot for 2 Milky Ways or 4 Kit Kats. Easily stack 4 Kit Kats in there. And the great news is if you got this thing packed full of kids, they could each break off a piece and pass around that Kit Kat bar. But knowing most kids, they're probably just gonna eat it themselves because they're selfish. But anyways, sitting here feels good. I love the way they have the USBs in the back portion of the seats so that you don't have the wires dangling all over the place, and you can kind of hang the wire there and put your phone in that cargo section. You have the nice seat controls, that chauffeur style seat control. If I want a little bit more room, I'm gonna squeeze you right into that dash because I get more leg room. I got an oh crap handle in case we're racing this, like I said, against the Siennas and the Odysseys and the Pacificas. AC controls, I'm calling shotgun on this side because we have the AC controls on my side, not on your side. So you aren't cool. I'm cool, literally. Or I could be hot, literally, by adjusting the temperature. Actually, I want it a little cooler. There we go. AC vents in the ceiling. And then when it comes to these seats, really, really nice, comfortable. You could slide this. Look how far this slides. I mean, that's all the way back. You go all the way forward if you want to give the people in the back more room. I wouldn't, but you could do that and sit like that. But I'm telling you, these seats are phenomenal. Plus, wait, we're not done yet. Boom. Let's say you want a captain's chair set up. You want to put some Skittles here. You got 2 cup holders. You can fold that seat down. And this middle seat obviously slides as well. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the back seat because I want to show off what the cargo area looks like. All right, guys, 3rd row time in this MPV. And this is where really a minivan kicks the butt out of an SUV. I'm sitting in the 3rd row. I got plenty of headroom still. My knees are not in my mouth, which is great. That'd be a little weird because I wouldn't be able to talk to you if my knees were stuffed in my mouth. You're still getting that same great 2-tone style interior. 9 USB ports in this vehicle with the wireless charging. You got that camera action. So like I said, if you're brave enough to let your teenage son or daughter to start dating at say like 13, you can at least keep an eye on them, make sure nothing's going down. But you do have a nice place for some Skittles, 2 cup holders, all nicely situated on both sides, and both rear seat passengers get USBs. And I like the little window, and look at this. They actually put a peeper creeper shade here so you could, even if you're sitting in the back, nobody's peeping on you. A lot of times they forget about the backseat passengers. Look at that, all the way in the back, and I could keep the peepers and the creepers away from me. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to this cargo area because I can't wait to take this Carnival for a little spin. All right, guys, obviously being an MPV or a minivan, I gotta say that quietly. I don't want anybody at Kia to hear me from California. The storage space is what's super important. So you're gonna hit that button, nice electric assist, get ready for some class leading cargo. First of all, I mean, this is almost like a hot tub. Look at all this room that we have back here. And then the best part, look, 2 Ladies Rides Patreon members, Adam and John, left their Twinkies back here. So you have a perfect Twinkie storage area. And then you have a place where you could chill and maybe hide from the kids, hide from the family back here and just you and your Twinkies and just relax and whatnot. But I'm gonna get out because we gotta keep going here. Ta-da! So you can see all that space, nice depth. I think one thing I would have liked to have seen if this was able to turn into a cooler. If this was all plastic and could be a cooler, that would be awesome. On the passenger side, what is good, especially if you're gonna do tailgating, camping, or anything like that, is you do have a home power source. Nice touch. And then you also have a 12 volt. So they got you covered there. And now we're gonna put down the seats and see how that goes. So real simple, we're just gonna take it, boom, take it, boom. Look at all that storage area. You're fooling yourself. You're lying to yourself if you think you could get as much cargo room in an SUV as you can in a minivan or MPV. But you're basically looking at best in class passenger volume. It's 168.2 cubic feet of passenger volume, best in class cargo volume, with all the seats down, 145.1 cubic feet of space. Go get those sheets of plywood. Start a garage band. You could get all the instruments, including that big old tuba. Get it on in here, the ease of use. But you know what? Let's go ahead and find out how this Carnival SX drives. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's take it for a spin. Guys, we left Loki Kia. We're in the 2022 Carnival, and we are having a party. We are having one heck of a celebration because there is a ton of room in this vehicle. Plus, you're getting some really, really nice finishes. The only major zonk is they should have done something a little bit more with the dash, with the gauges specifically. I don't mind the analog gauges, that's not it. It's just that digital display on an SX trim is too small. But I guess if you want it all, you're gonna have to option it all and go with that full prestige trim. Now, the wonderful news is that for 2022, we have some better sound deadening, and that new platform, that new chassis platform is more rigid, which is also gonna allow the interior to be that much more quiet. On throttle, here we go. Not too shabby. I mean, it pretty much falls in alignment with the competition. I think the Honda Odyssey is just a tick faster, but the great news is you're getting that nice linear power delivery, torque delivery, because of that naturally aspirated power. This is front-wheel drive, and I guess especially for those who do a lot of towing or those who live in snowy climates, the lack of all-wheel drive is a bit of a bummer. But overall, that 8-speed shifts very, very smoothly. The engine isn't like buzzy or loud, which is great. And like I said, driving down the road here, these seats are comfortable, and the interior sound, it's just, they really did it right. I'm curious to hear what you think about the infotainment screen setup. I don't mind it. I think it looks fantastic, the way it's integrated with the gauge cluster, but put that in the comments section what you think about the infotainment system setup compared to the competition. But getting to everything is well within reach. Your passengers are going to be very, very happy because guess what? They have all their connectivity, and those mid-row passengers have those two 10-inch screens to watch movies or just keep themselves occupied. If you compare this to the Pacifica, I guess the one thing that they're bringing that the others are not is with their cabin watch system, that camera ability to see the other two rows, they're able to see child seats that are turned around in the opposite direction. So that definitely would be a major feather in their cap, especially for new mothers and new fathers to definitely keep an eye on their baby, on their child. But other than that, having the different modes, it's crazy how that small digital display just kills it for me. Every time I look down the gauges, I want to look right back up or look at the infotainment system because it doesn't fit this interior. This interior is unbelievable when it comes to the colors and the quality and the style and the technology. But then you look down and you're like, oh, let's go ahead and get on throttle again. Here we go, on throttle. I tell you, super smooth, man. I feel like it just glides over the asphalt very, very well. All right, guys, it's been another great day here at Loki Kia. I definitely want to thank Robert, Danny, and the whole crew getting us access. It's hard to find these Carnivals, especially a near the top trim SX like we have here. If you're looking for that minivan, the great news is things are changing across the brands, make them a little bit more muscular, definitely bring tons of features as always. You want to add this Carnival to your list because there might be some things that surprise you on the outside and definitely on the inside. But if you want to keep seeing vehicles like these, MPVs, on Rady's Rides, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you in the channel, 2 ways to do it. Click the first link, become a Rady's Rides Patreon member. Click the second link, get yourself some Rady's Rides merch. Got to give it up to the best member of the Rady's Rides team, Lori, working that camera like a champ, solid as a rock, no matter how hot that sun is getting. Show her some love in the comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.